The gymnasium falls dead silent as 17-year-old Maya Williams stares down her tormentors, their cruel laughter dying in their throats. For months, they've pushed her, humiliated her, treated her like she was nothing. They see a quiet black girl with second-hand clothes and think they know her story. They have no idea that hidden in her backpack lies a Navy SEAL Trident Piner, that her father spent 15 years training her to be a weapon they could never imagine. In 30 seconds, everything they thought they knew about power, about weakness, about the girl they've been destroying, is about to shatter like glass. What happens when predators discover they've been hunting an apex predator all along? Maya Williams moves through the hallways of Jefferson High School, like a ghost drifting between worlds. Her rich brown skin catches the fluorescent lighting, but she keeps her head down, thick black hair pulled back in a simple ponytail that speaks of function over fashion. While other girls strut in designer jeans and carry purses worth more than Maya's monthly allowance, she clutches a worn canvas backpack against her chest like armor. Her movements are precise, controlled habits. Most people never notice, but those who know recognize as the careful steps of someone trained for survival. Her sneakers are scuffed but well maintained, her jeans clean but faded from countless washings, her t-shirts plain but pressed with military corners that her grandmother still insists upon. In her locker, hidden behind textbooks about American history and algebra, sits a small photograph wrapped in protective plastic. The image shows a younger Maya standing beside a tall, powerfully built black man in navy dress blues. His chest displays rows of ribbons and medals that tell stories of courage most people will never witness. But it's the silver trident pin on his collar that catches the light, the symbol of America's most elite warriors. Master Chief Petty Officer James Williams, Navy SEAL Team 6, Special Operations. Maya's fingers trace the photo's edges, worn smooth from countless touches over the past 2 years. She whispers words that have become her daily prayer. Stay strong, baby girl. Warriors don't quit. Her father's voice echoes across the thousands of miles that separate them, reaching her even in this suburban high school that feels like another planet. Maya's application for the cheerleading squad sits crumpled in her bag, almost forgotten among homework assignments and her father's letters. She'd filled it out during lunch break, thinking maybe this could be her fresh start in Atlanta. Maybe here, living with her grandmother, while her father serves his final deployment overseas. She could finally feel like she belonged somewhere permanent. Her previous schools had been temporary stops, military bases scattered across 3 continents. Transitional housing that smelled of bleach and broken dreams. Relatives' spare rooms where she tried to make herself invisible. The nomadic life of a military child had taught her to pack light and love carefully. Because everything could change with a single phone call from the Pentagon. The other students at Jefferson High see a quiet girl who doesn't speak unless spoken to, someone who eats lunch alone in the library and never raises her hand in class, even when she knows the answers. They see an easy target, a soft mark, someone who won't fight back. What they don't see is the way Maya's eyes automatically scan every room she enters, cataloging exits and potential threats with the systematic precision her father drilled into her from childhood. They don't notice how her posture subtly shifts when she senses danger, or how her hands unconsciously form loose fists when confronted with aggression. They don't know that behind her gentle smile and soft voice lies the heart of someone who's been trained to never surrender, never quit, never show weakness to those who would exploit it. Maya's grandmother, Esther Williams, watches her granddaughter's careful navigation of teenage politics with knowing eyes. She recognizes the signs of someone carrying invisible wounds, someone who's learned to hide their true nature for survival. Every evening, Esther sees Maya sit at the kitchen table, doing homework with the methodical focus of a soldier completing mission briefings. The old woman understands that her granddaughter isn't just trying to fit in at Jefferson High. She's trying to heal from experiences that would break most adults. The cheerleading squad represents more than athletic achievement or social acceptance. It represents Maya's desperate hope that she can finally be normal, finally belong somewhere, without having to hide who she really is. The weight of expectation sits heavy on Maya's shoulders as she prepares for her first practice. She's memorized the team roster, studied their statistics from the previous season, watched recordings of their performances with the analytical eye. Her father taught her to apply to every new environment. She knows that Brittany Morrison, the senior captain, has led Jefferson High to 2 consecutive state championships. She knows that the squad operates with military-like precision, demanding excellence from every member. What Maya doesn't know is that her quiet competence and mysterious background have already made her a target for girls who mistake kindness for weakness and silence for submission. Maya's story begins on a military base in Virginia Beach, where she spent her childhood surrounded by America's most elite warriors. Master Chief James Williams wasn't just her father. He was her first and most demanding teacher, her mentor in the art of survival, her guide through a world where weakness could mean death. From age 5, Maya learned to tie knots that could hold a grown man's weight and pack a rucksack that wouldn't shift during a 20-mile march. By 8, she could disassemble and reassemble tactical communications equipment, blindfolded, her small fingers moving with the precision of a trained operative. By 12, she was running obstacle courses that would challenge Olympic athletes, her body hardened by years of dawn training sessions that most adults couldn't endure. Her father's lessons went far beyond physical conditioning. He taught her to read micro-expressions that revealed lies, to detect threats before they materialized, to remain calm under pressure that would paralyze most people. Every skill was wrapped in love, every challenge designed to build her into someone who could face any adversity and emerge stronger. The other military children on base respected Maya's abilities, understanding that she carried something special, something that set her apart even in a community of exceptional individuals. But when her father received orders for extended deployments, Maya discovered that civilian children operated by completely different rules. Each new school brought the same painful pattern: whispers about the weird military girl who was too serious and thought she was better than everyone else, followed Maya through hallways where weakness was currency and conformity was survival. She learned to hide her training, to pretend she was ordinary, to suppress the instincts that had been drilled into her bones, the desperate need to belong, to have the friendships she saw other girls enjoying effortlessly, made her willing to sacrifice pieces of herself for acceptance that never seemed to last. The breaking point came during her sophomore year in Phoenix, at a school where Maya thought she'd finally found her place. She'd discovered a group of friends who seemed to accept her quirks, and she'd even started dating Marcus Chen, a sweet boy who made her laugh and helped her forget about the loneliness that followed her like a shadow. For 6 months, Maya allowed herself to believe that she could be normal, that her past didn't have to define her future. She let her guard down for the first time in years, trusting people who didn't understand the weight of secrets she carried. The illusion shattered on a Tuesday afternoon behind the school gymnasium. Maya was walking to her car when she heard Marcus crying out in pain and fear. 3 older boys had cornered him, demanding money and threatening violence with the casual cruelty of predators who'd found easy prey. Maya's training kicked in before her conscious mind could stop it. In less than 30 seconds, she had all three attackers on the ground, using pressure points and joint manipulation techniques that left them writhing in pain but technically uninjured. The precision was surgical, the effectiveness devastating, the silence that followed absolute. The aftermath destroyed everything Maya had tried to build. Someone had recorded the incident, and within hours, the footage spread through the school like wildfire. Instead of being grateful, Marcus was humiliated and angry. "I didn't need some girl to fight my battles," he shouted at her the next day, his words cutting deeper than any physical wound. Her friends turned cold overnight, calling her violent and dangerous, treating her like a loaded weapon that might explode without warning. Teachers looked at her with suspicion and fear. Parents demanded she be removed from their children's classes. The principal suggested she might be better suited for a different educational environment. Maya's grandmother picked her up from school that day, finding her granddaughter sitting alone on the front steps with tears streaming down her face like rivers of defeat. "They'll never understand," Maya whispered, her voice breaking with the weight of accumulated rejection. "No matter where I go, I'll always be different. I'll always be alone." Her grandmother wrapped her in arms that smelled of vanilla and unconditional love. But even that comfort couldn't penetrate the walls Maya was already building around her heart. That night, Maya made a decision that would haunt her for the next 2 years. She would bury her training, her abilities, her father's lessons. She would become invisible, unremarkable, safe. She packed away her father's photo, his letters, his medals. She threw away her combat boots and tactical gear. She promised herself she would never fight again, never stand out, never give anyone a reason to fear or reject her. For 2 years, she perfected the art of being nobody, speaking in whispers, avoiding eye contact, letting others make decisions for her. The cheerleading tryouts at Jefferson High represent Maya's last attempt to be normal. She approaches the gymnasium with carefully managed expectations, hoping that, maybe, if she can just blend in with the other girls, she can finally have the teenage experience she's watched from the sidelines her entire life. But some things can't stay buried forever. And Maya is about to discover that her past has followed her to Atlanta. The Jefferson High cheerleading squad operates like a carefully constructed hierarchy, with senior captain Brittany Morrison ruling from the apex with absolute authority. Brittany's blonde hair falls in perfect waves that catch stadium lights like spun gold. Her designer uniforms fit like they were created specifically for magazine covers. And her father's pharmaceutical empire ensures that the Morrison family name appears on donor plaques throughout the school. She's never known a day of genuine hardship, never questioned whether she deserves the privileges that surround her like invisible armor. To Brittany, the world is divided into 2 categories: people who matter and people who serve those who matter. When Maya walks into the gymnasium for her first practice, wearing a uniform that's clearly second-hand and shoes that have seen better days, the whispers start immediately. "Who's the new girl? Look at those shoes. Did she get her uniform from the discount bin?" Brittany's eyes narrow as she takes in Maya's appearance, the way she stands slightly apart from the group, the careful control in her movements, the absence of the desperate eagerness most new members display. There's something about Maya that Brittany can't quite identify, and it irritates her, like a splinter under perfectly manicured skin. Brittany approaches with the calculated confidence of someone who's never been denied anything she wanted. Well, she announces, her voice carrying across the gym with theatrical authority. "Look what the guidance counselor dragged in. Maya, right? Let me guess you transferred here because you got kicked out of your last school." The other girls giggle nervously, but Maya remains silent, her eyes fixed on the polished gymnasium floor. "I asked you a question. Brittany continues, stepping closer, invading personal space with predatory precision. Or are you too good to talk to us? Maya's voice emerges barely above a whisper, trained into submission by years of trying to be invisible. I moved here to live with my grandmother. I just want to be part of the team. Her soft response only emboldens Brittany, who recognizes what she mistakes for weakness and vulnerability. Part of the team? Brittany laughs, the sound sharp and cutting. Honey, this isn't some charity case squad for girls who can't afford proper equipment. We're state champions. We don't just let anyone wear our colors. The systematic destruction of Maya's confidence begins during her second week with military precision that would impress even her father. Brittany assigns her to clean the entire equipment room alone, a task that normally requires the entire team working together for 30 minutes. Since you're so eager to prove yourself, Brittany says with false sweetness that doesn't reach her cold blue eyes, show us how dedicated you really are. Maya spends 2 hours organizing uniforms by size and color, cleaning mats with industrial disinfectant, and restocking supplies with the methodical thoroughness her father taught her. When she finishes, Brittany inspects her work with theatrical disappointment. I guess this is what passes for effort where you come from. Do it again. And this time, try to care. The social isolation campaign begins with surgical precision. Brittany creates group chats for real team members only, discussing practice changes, social events, and team bonding activities, while deliberately excluding Maya from all communication. When Maya shows up wearing the wrong uniform or arrives at the wrong location for practice, Brittany feigns confused innocence. Didn't you get the message? Oh wait, I forgot you're not really part of our communication network yet. Maybe when you prove you belong here. During practice sessions, Brittany's psychological warfare intensifies with each passing day. She critiques Maya's every movement with cutting precision that would make drill sergeants proud. Your jumps are too low. Your voice is too quiet. Your smile looks forced and fake. When Maya executes a complex routine flawlessly, Brittany dismisses it as lucky or sloppy footwork that the judges would catch immediately. She consistently assigns Maya to the back row during performances, ensuring she remains invisible to audiences and college scouts. Some people are born to be in the spotlight, Brittany explains to the team with false wisdom, and others are meant to blend into the background where they belong. The other girls fall in line with Brittany's campaign like soldiers, following orders from a commanding officer. Jessica Martinez, a junior who initially showed Maya genuine kindness, begins avoiding eye contact and cutting conversations short. I'm sorry, she whispers to Maya during one particularly brutal practice session. Brittany controls everything: her scholarships, recommendations, social events. Cross her, and you're not just off the team. You're invisible at this entire school. The warning carries the weight of experience, and Maya understands that she's entered a battlefield where the rules of engagement favor those with power and connections. Coach Patterson, a middle-aged woman whose entire career depends on maintaining Jefferson High's championship reputation, seems willfully blind to the systematic bullying occurring under her supervision. When Maya finally works up the courage to speak about the treatment she's receiving, Coach Patterson dismisses her concerns with bureaucratic efficiency. Every team has growing pains, she tells Maya, while reviewing statistics that matter more than student welfare. Maybe you need to try harder to fit in. Brittany's been here 4 years. She knows what this team needs to succeed. The campaign escalates during homecoming week, when Brittany orchestrates Maya's most public humiliation, yet she announces that team members will be paired for a community service project. But Maya is deliberately left without a partner, while everyone else receives assignments. I guess Maya doesn't need community service. Brittany announces with theatrical confusion. She's probably used to being alone anyway. The laughter that follows feels like physical blows. But Maya maintains her composure with the discipline her father taught her. At the homecoming pep rally, Brittany executes her masterpiece of psychological warfare. Before the team's performance, she secretly loosens the laces on Maya's shoes, while pretending to offer encouraging words. "Break a leg out there," she says with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. During the routine, when Maya attempts her signature jump sequence, her loosened shoe flies off, sending her tumbling into the other cheerleaders in a cascade of embarrassment. The gymnasium erupts in laughter as Maya scrambles to her feet, her face burning with humiliation that feels like fire. Brittany helps her up with exaggerated concern, playing the role of supportive captain for the hundreds of witnesses. "Accidents happen," she says loud enough for everyone to hear. "Maybe you should practice more at home." The footage of Maya's fall spreads through Jefferson High within hours, shared among students who've never spoken to her but feel entitled to mock her failure. Someone creates cruel memes using her stumble, adding captions about "epic fails" and "wannabes who can't handle the pressure." Maya finds printouts taped to her locker, each one a fresh wound to her already battered self-esteem. Teachers who witness the mockery look away, unwilling to challenge the social hierarchy that keeps their star athletes happy and their championship banners hanging in the gymnasium. The breaking point arrives on a cold Tuesday morning in November, when Maya discovers her locker vandalized with messages written in permanent marker. "Go back where you came from, and nobody wants you here," cover her books and belongings like graffiti tags marking territory. Her notebooks are torn, her pens broken, her father's carefully folded letters scattered across the floor like discarded trash. Standing in the hallway, surrounded by the evidence of pure malice, Maya feels something inside her chest crumble completely, leaving her hollow and defeated. She skips cheerleading practice for the first time, walking home through autumn streets, with tears streaming down her face, like rivers of accumulated pain. Her grandmother's house feels like a sanctuary, but even there, Maya can't escape the weight of her isolation and failure. She sits on her bedroom floor, staring at the hidden photograph of her father, his proud smile now feeling like a mockery of everything she's become. "I can't do this anymore. Dad," she whispers to the empty room, her voice breaking with desperation. "I'm not strong like you. I'm just broken." The resignation letter takes her an hour to write, each word feeling like another piece of herself being torn away. "Dear Coach Patterson, I am formally quitting the cheerleading team effective immediately. Thank you for the opportunity. Sincerely, Maya Williams." The words represent surrender, but they also promise relief from the daily torture of trying to belong where she's clearly not wanted. Maybe if she stops putting herself in situations where she can be hurt, maybe she can find some fragment of peace. Her grandmother finds her packing her few belongings into cardboard boxes with the methodical precision of someone who's done this too many times before. "Where are you going, baby?" Esther asks. Though she already recognizes the signs of her granddaughter's flight response, Maya has been running from pain her entire life, moving from one place to another whenever things become too difficult to bear. "Maybe I should go live with Aunt Carol in Michigan," Maya says without looking up from her folding. "Or maybe I can get my own apartment. I'm almost 18. I can take care of myself." Esther sits on the bed, watching her granddaughter fold clothes with military corners that speak of a discipline learned too young. "Your father called yesterday," she says quietly, her words carrying the weight of hope and heartbreak. Maya's hands freeze mid-fold. "He's coming home next month. Early discharge. He wants to surprise you for your 18th birthday." The news hits Maya like a physical blow, because her father, the man She's spent 2 years trying to make Proud Will return, to find her exactly where she started, alone and defeated, and running away from challenges instead of facing them. That night, Maya pulls out her father's final letter, the one she'd hidden away with his photograph when she decided to bury her past. Her hands shake as she unfolds the worn paper and reads his words through tears that blur his careful handwriting. Maya, my warrior princess, I know life is hard when I'm not there to protect you. But remember, you were born with the heart of a fighter. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stand your ground when everyone else wants you to run. The world will try to break you, baby girl, but you're made of stronger stuff than they can imagine. I believe in you. I always have. Maya closes her eyes and feels her father's love reaching across the thousands of miles that separate them, warming her from the inside, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. For the first time in months, she doesn't feel completely alone in the world. Maya's transformation begins at dawn with a ritual she hasn't performed in 2 years. She wakes before her alarm, her father's letter still clutched in her hand, and feels something shift inside her chest, familiar, stirring, she's tried to suppress since Phoenix. She stands in front of her bedroom mirror. Really? Looking at herself for the first time in months, the girl staring back isn't weak or broken. She's been in hiding, but she's still a warrior's daughter, still carrying the blood of someone who never learned how to quit. The first change is subtle, but unmistakable. Maya walks into Jefferson High with her shoulders back, her chin raised, her eyes scanning the hallways with tactical awareness instead of fearful avoidance. She doesn't shrink when students stare or whisper about her resignation from the cheerleading squad. She doesn't flinch when Brittany makes cutting remarks during morning announcements about quitters who couldn't handle the pressure. Instead, Maya studies her tormentors with the analytical gaze. Her father taught her, cataloging their weaknesses, understanding their motivations, preparing for what she now knows is inevitable confrontation. The opportunity comes during the regional cheerleading competition qualifier, an event that will determine which squads advance to state championships. Coach Patterson announces that each team member must demonstrate individual skills in front of college scouts and competition judges, a showcase that could determine scholarship opportunities and future prospects. Brittany sees this as her chance to deliver the final blow to Maya's already shattered confidence. Maya should perform last, she suggests, with false generosity that fools no one who knows her true nature. Give her extra time to prepare since she's been struggling lately. The other girls nod in understanding, recognizing the real message behind Brittany's words. Save the worst performance for last. Let Maya's inevitable failure be the lasting impression in everyone's minds. Maya accepts the challenge with quiet grace that masks the warrior awakening inside her chest. While the other girls perform their routine as technically proficient but predictable combinations of jumps, tumbling, and dance, Maya sits in perfect stillness, her mind calculating angles, distances, and possibilities. With the precision her father drilled into her, she watches Brittany's flawless performance, noting how the judges appreciate technical perfection, but hunger for something more, something that transcends mere athleticism and touches the realm of artistry. When her name is finally called, Maya walks to the center of the gymnasium floor with steps that echo like drum beats in the sudden silence. The audience settles into expectant quiet, preparing for another routine performance from the quiet girl who never speaks up for herself. Maya begins with a standing backflip that seems to defy the laws of physics, her body rotating with such perfect control that she appears to float in the air before landing without the slightest wobble. The judges lean forward in their seats, suddenly paying attention to what they expected would be a forgettable performance. But this is only the beginning of something that will redefine everyone's understanding of human potential. Maya launches into a sequence that combines military obstacle course techniques with advanced gymnastics, moving across the floor with fluid precision that transforms the gymnasium into something magical. She executes aerial maneuvers that shouldn't be possible for someone without years of elite training, wall runs that transition seamlessly into perfect backflips, handstand sequences that flow into complex tumbling passes with the grace of someone who's been trained by the best in the world. Each movement builds on the last, creating a performance that transcends cheerleading and enters the realm of pure athleticism. Maya's routine isn't just demonstration of skill, it's a display of human potential that leaves the audience speechless with wonder. The judges' pens stop moving as they watch something they've never seen before, something that challenges their understanding of what's possible. The gymnasium falls into complete silence as Maya executes her final sequence, a masterpiece of controlled power that seems to suspend the laws of physics. She runs toward the gymnasium wall, plants her feet with perfect timing, and launches herself into a wall flip that sends her spinning through the air in a move that seems to stop time itself. She lands in a perfect splits position, her arms raised toward the ceiling, her breathing steady and controlled, her eyes fixed on the judges who are now frantically scribbling notes. The silence that follows stretches for 30 seconds that feel like eternity. Nobody moves. Nobody speaks. Nobody even breathes, as the reality of what they've witnessed settles into their consciousness. The head judge, a former Olympic gymnast who's seen the best athletes in the world, stands up slowly, his expression mixing professional admiration with personal awe. In 20 years of competitive cheerleading, he says, his voice carrying across the silent gymnasium, I have never witnessed a display of athleticism quite like that. The applause begins as a whisper and builds to thunderous roar that shakes the building's foundations. College scouts rush forward with business cards and scholarship offers worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The other team members stare at Maya like she's a complete stranger, which in many ways she is. The quiet girl they've been tormenting doesn't exist anymore. She never really existed at all. Brittany approaches Maya with hands that shake like autumn leaves, her usual confidence replaced by something that looks like respect, mixed with genuine fear. Maya, I had no idea you could. She trails off, unable to finish the sentence that would acknowledge how completely wrong she's been about everything. Maya looks at her former tormentor with calm eyes that hold no anger. No triumph. No need for the revenge. That would be so easy to take. You never asked. Maya says simply, her voice carrying the quiet authority of someone who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. You just assumed you knew who I was. The judges call Maya forward for a private conversation that will change the trajectory of her entire future. They want to know about her training and her background, her plans for the years ahead. College scouts from Division I schools offer full athletic scholarships on the spot. Opportunities that represent not just education, but freedom from the financial struggles that have defined her family's life. The transformation is complete from invisible target to the most sought-after athlete in the state, all in the space of a 5-minute routine that revealed who she really is. But Maya's victory isn't about the scholarships or the recognition or the way everyone suddenly wants to be her friend. It's about the moment she stopped hiding from her own strength, stopped apologizing for her father's training, stopped pretending to be less than she is. It's about choosing to stand up instead of continuing to run away from challenges that seemed insurmountable. 6 months later, Maya Williams stands in the doorway of Jefferson High's main office, her Navy SEAL father beside her in civilian clothes that can't disguise the warrior's bearing he carries. like genetic code. Master Chief James Williams has kept his promises home from his final deployment. His 20-year career complete. Ready to start the next chapter of their lives together in Atlanta. The full-ride scholarship letter from Stanford University sits in Maya's backpack, alongside her father's photo and his letters. No longer hidden treasures, but carried with the pride they've always deserved. Coach Patterson shakes her father's hand, with respect that comes too late to matter. Her eyes wide as she processes the reality of who Maya really is. "Your daughter is remarkable," she says, though her words feel hollow after months of willful blindness to the systematic abuse occurring under her supervision. Through the office window, Maya watches the current cheerleading team practicing in the gymnasium. Their movements more purposeful now, their support for each other more genuine. The culture has shifted, and Maya knows she played a part in that transformation. Brittany Morrison approaches them in the hallway, her usual entourage notably absent, her queen bee persona replaced by something more genuine and humble. The girl who once ruled through fear and intimidation now moves with the uncertain steps of someone learning to navigate the world without artificial authority. "Maya," she says, her voice carrying weight it never held during their months of conflict. "I wanted to thank you." Maya raises an eyebrow, genuinely curious about this unexpected gratitude. "For what?" "For showing me what real strength looks like. I've been thinking about what you said, about how I never bothered to ask who you really were. I'm trying to do better now." Maya studies her former tormentor's face, seeing sincerity where arrogance once lived, recognizing the difficult work of genuine change. "We all have the chance to do better," Maya says with the wisdom of someone who's learned that strength without compassion is just another form of weakness. Every day is a choice about who we want to be. They shake hands, not as friends exactly, but as two people who've learned something important about judgment and the courage it takes to see past surface appearances. As Maya and her father walk toward the parking lot, a young freshman girl approaches them with the nervous energy of someone gathering courage for something important. "Excuse me." "Maya," she says, her voice barely audible above the afternoon traffic. "I'm Sarah Martinez. I'm starting on the cheerleading team next year. And I wanted to say, well, I wanted to thank you for showing me that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be strong, even when other people don't understand." Maya smiles with genuine warmth, remembering her own desperate need for someone to believe in her potential when the world seemed determined to diminish her. "Strength isn't about what you can do to others," Maya tells Sarah with the authority of someone who's learned this lesson through fire. "It's about what you choose to do for yourself when no one else believes in you." She hands Sarah a small card with her contact information, written in careful script. "If you ever need someone to remind you how strong you are, you call me. Promise." Father and daughter walk away together, their shadows long in the golden afternoon sun that transforms the suburban street into something cinematic. Maya has learned the most important lesson of all, that true victory isn't about defeating your enemies, but about refusing to let them define who you become. The last image is of Sarah Martinez, standing a little taller in the school parking lot, holding Maya's card like a talisman of possibility. Some battles are won, not with power, but with dignity. In a world that often mistakes silence for weakness, Maya Williams discovered that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply refuse to stay silent. If you were her, facing that choice between revenge and grace, what would you do?